Hey everyone, my name is Mike Vaughn. I'm a writer for Geek Vibes Nation. I'm also the author of The Ultimate Guide to Strange Cinema.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tia. I'm your content manager for Geek Vibes Nation, and as always, very happy to be here.
And I am Dom Fisher. And look, man, I'm just a jack of all trades. I make it do what it do. Whatever needs to be done, I'm gonna get it done. And I'm on my phone. It's on my laptop. So if the angle's weird or I get to moving around, that's why.
Well, yeah, and before we jump into this topic, y'all are like the MVPs over at Geek Vibes, just so y'all know, watching. Um, like hats off. Well, if I had a hat, it would be hats off.
Dom and I
uh,
have been at GVN for a while. I was just messaging Kane in that the other day, and I go, I think you and I have been here for like 5 years. That's
wow,
crazy.
nice.
And Dom, I want to say, what, like 4 years now or something like that?
Four and some change, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So definitely
Um,
the OGs.
That's awesome. And I'm really excited because what inspired this was, T and I, we were talking about Loki season two. That was such a fun conversation. And I don't know, I just felt like we got on this really fun, interesting tangent about just the state of like Marvel and DC. And I thought, well, why not, see if we could get some other people, talk this out. Um, Dom, I know you're like a big fan of like Marvel and DC too, so like
Yeah.
it's really awesome. So um it's a really I mean, I guess I'll kick it off with just saying like it's a really weird time for like comic book movies. With like the one-two punch of like Blue Beetle and Miss Marvel not doing great. Um it's kind of a dumpster fire. But I'm gonna kick it off. I'll let y'all like give me your initial thoughts on like what do you think is the reason why we're all just kind of falling out of love with comic book movies kind of lately?
Dom, I'll let you kick this off.
um, so the term superhero fatigue gets thrown around a lot. I don't really like the phrase because there's no such thing as comedy fatigue or drama fatigue or horror fatigue. I think it's just that we we hold things like Endgame, Infinity War in such high regard, and we forgot that along that journey, like we didn't know that we were going to get this big thing at the end. And there were films that weren't that great along the way. And now that we did get those, the end of that saga, we're expecting that same caliber to be in every single film. And it's hard to measure up when you're leading up to something potentially huge, when it comes to Marvel, at least. DC, well, it's one. I think it's
Be
the
nice.
too many chefs in the kitchen. I think there's too many ideas, and there's not enough. Um, there's no one. There's not one person leading the way until now. We have James Gunn, and I think that when that happens, you get a big clusterfuck of movies that don't seemingly mesh together. And I think that they're now going to start having that. We'll see. But I don't think that uh, Marvel will have that same problem going forward. But right now, it's just that maybe the characters that we're focusing on, people don't love as much, or maybe the direction, because we know there's all these rewrites on some of the series. They have to kind of restructure themselves, and once that happens, hopefully we get back to everyone loving everything that gets put out.
I think that's a little optimistic, Dom. I feel like people I almost feel like people want to not love what comes out.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I want to echo a lot of Dom's statements there. We we loved Chris Evans as Captain America. We loved Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Maybe not everyone, but I loved Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. And now we have this new era where you're getting people who are stepping into those roles who aren't the original actors, or you have new characters entirely. And people almost forget, obviously comic book fans knew these characters, but a lot of people who are MCU fans didn't know who these characters were originally, and they were just happy with consuming these characters and learning about them. Now it's like, well, who's this character? I don't care about them. They're not Tony Stark. They're not Steve Rogers. I don't care about this. I have not loved everything that's come out of phase 4, phase 5, but I don't think it's as terrible as everyone makes it out to be. I still think that there's a lot of good in the MCU. I think it's just they did do something that no other studio has done with 10 years of the Infinity Saga leading up to Infinity War and Endgame. I mean, when you have something like, didn't the Russo say it's the most ambitious, collaboration ever? Well, when you do that, then yeah, it's going to be hard to live up to it. So I think they're just trying to find their footing, see what works. And I think Mike, you and I were talking about this on our Loki review, where people forget not everyone loved what was going out in phase 1 or phase 2. So we're not going to love everything that happens, but I just feel like trust the process, and hopefully it'll all be worth it in the end.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting point. Like, you both had some really great points. It's definitely, I feel like the problem is, I so Dom, you had a really interesting point with like the superhero fatigue, and it's not that I don't totally disagree with what you're saying, but like, I was kind of thinking about it the other day, and it's like I was trying to remember like when the last time I was so excited for like a Marvel or a DC movie, because yeah, I mean, there has been some like really great, like, again, like DC kind of gets I think a bum rap, but like the Joker was great. Like, they had some other like fun stuff. I know it's awful because I think, I mean, we all liked Shazam, the first one.
Doom Patrol, the Harley
Mhm,
Quinn. I
mhm.
mean, maybe not
Peacemaker.
in the Peacemaker, so maybe not in the DCEU, but still solid DC projects.
Yeah, and it's just like, again, I'm like trying to remember like when I had that like, holy shit, I'm so excited feeling. Like, I feel like I'm getting there with like the new Joker movie. Oh, I forgot to mention, of course, the Batman was awesome. So like the follow up to that, like, that's the stuff that I feel like gets me excited. But it does feel like it's not special anymore. Like when we're getting so much stuff, it's almost too much of a good thing. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah,
You
oh,
oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead, Tom.
Oh, I think, and I think where when you have some movies in DC that get championed versus some of the Marvel movies, is it sometimes it is fun to like have a one-off movie like the Batman where it's its own encapsulated little thing, not necessarily connected to the full DCEU, at least not right now. So I think that's why you can't get more excited because you don't have to. Okay, the Marvels is coming out, or I have to go watch this show,
To
go
understand.
back and watch. Yeah, and they do their best to make it to where you can kind of through context understand what's going on, but there is going to be those things or those references that you're like, I didn't get that, and then someone goes, oh, well, because you didn't watch these 3 shows. So I can understand that that's where it's difficult, and perhaps they shouldn't have made the shows connect directly to the films unless you're going to do like a 2 episode thing, but like to have to sit and watch 6 to 10 episodes or something that has to connect to the films, it does suck. I mean, if you don't want to have a extra streaming service, if you don't already have Disney Plus, or if you can't see something in theaters, it makes it difficult. So I do understand that. But yeah, I mean, I can't say that what you were talking about. I can't say that I was super excited to see the Marvels or Thor or Ant-Man. But I mean, it's one of those things where it is building towards something big. We did get something huge at the end of the Marvels, so I think that that will cause like the next level of excitement. So I think it's just finding that one thing that people are going to gravitate towards, and once you get a little bit of it, you're like, okay, whatever they're doing next, if they stay on that same track, that's what I want because we all want. I ain't gonna spoil anything for anybody, but we want that. That's what I want when we get in that end credit scene, and hopefully they deliver. But we are gonna have 5 or 6 shows, I'm sure, that we're gonna have to
Yeah.
consume to fully integrate it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when anything is oversaturated, it kind of diminishes the excitement. When we didn't have these shows, things you had to wait longer periods of times in between the movies, so that really garnered up the excitement there. I always like, and I've seen other people do it, kind of compare it to Westerns. Remember, at one point, Westerns were huge, and some really great Westerns, and all of a sudden the oversaturation kind of killed it. But even in the years since Westerns have not really been popular, there's been a Western every once in a while thrown out there that's become like a cult classic. And I think maybe that is what DC is doing better right now, where they're doing their one-offs. I think what with Marvel, they're doing their spotlights, and Echo is going to be part of the spotlight. That's exciting. Something that isn't really going to be concerned with overly connecting it to the rest of the MCU, but you at least know that it exists within the MCU, feels exciting. So, and by the way, Dom, I didn't see the Marvels, but I think Twitter and TikTok has spoiled that mid-credit scene enough. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
you don't even need to go to the theaters to know exactly what's happening nowadays.
Yeah.
I almost feel like really quick, that kind of has also killed like the excitement, because
That's true.
prior to I mean, Twitter's been around for a really long time, but people are just unhinged with their spoiling. And before TikTok, you had to actually go to the movies to see what was happening. You couldn't just look at what's going on the apps and find out. Now if you want, so I didn't see Guardians of the Galaxy for a long time, which has kind of been like a, I don't know, I kind of like how I'm doing it now, where I just don't go to the theaters to see these things. I'm like waiting till I'm actually in the mood to watch things. But you can watch the entire movie on TikTok just in parts. It's
Right.
like 30 parts, and I've watched the entire movie. So I think that's also had something to do with it.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's like really great points from both y'all. Like, and I read something really interesting about it also kind of being the barrier for people to just get into it. And this kind of comes back to what you all were saying about having to watch all these, like it's almost like homework, but to watch all these shows, everything interconnected, but like also um I think a lot of people that aren't necessarily huge, comic book fans are feeling maybe intimidated by jumping into something that feels very interconnected, very like um I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this, but like yeah, it's kind of how I feel like with being relatively out of step with Star Trek. I feel very like intimidated. I'm like, where do I jump in? Because like I literally have not watched Star Trek like since the 90s. I'm really old.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't know what to watch if I was jumping back into Star Trek.
yeah, I mean, and that's how I feel like some people kind of feel with like Star Wars, not to just like not that that's super random, but I also feel like that kind of has maybe is starting to get a little bit of a fatigue, but it's I think it's just like the same way with like maybe Marvel more in particular, where like as you all were saying, like it's they're not doing as many like one-offs like DC, where everybody kind of knows who Batman is, everybody knows who the Joker is. Like those are iconic characters that the barrier for entry is a little bit more friendly. And I can't take credit for this. This was like an art a point. I think it was a gosh, what was the? It was like the Variety or Hollywood Reporter did a really interesting um like thing about just like the state of, the superhero movies and stuff. And they were just saying that like we kind of need to get back to a point where it's like, okay, everybody kind of knows Iron Man or, Thor. It's like, even like characters that maybe were a little bit more obscure, like Guardians of the Galaxy, which, prior to the movies were not really like A-list heroes, but it's so relatable. It's so easy to sort of get into. I mean, and what was nice was they used that to sort of ease us into Thanos, even if you didn't really know who he was. Obviously, it's easy to put together. He's the new big bad. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's oh,
Sorry,
go
Dom,
ahead.
go ahead. No,
Oh, no, well, it makes me, as you were talking, I was kind of thinking, it's almost like when you think about huge series like Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead, looking back and where we are now, you kind of wish that maybe they could have just done this whole thing as a continuous series, and then maybe the season finale of every season would be a movie. And that way, if you want to catch up, you just got to go watch a couple episodes in the season
Mhm.
and then kind of know what's going on, rather than going back and forth between series and movies.
That is actually a really good thing. Didn't we have something? Am I like remembering it wrong? Didn't I feel like something did come out before, like Infinity War or something like that? Or no, you know what it was, when I went to the Alamo, and they were like
Uh,
showing like, here's to catch you up. That would be nice if they did something like
yeah.
that. Like, hey, you didn't watch the 20 films that came before this. Here's your little catch up. So that would be nice. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, because, as you said, we really didn't know who Iron Man. I didn't know who Iron Man was. I'm not a comic book reader. A lot of these characters are being introduced to me through the movies. I didn't know who Iron Man was. I didn't know who Ant-Man was. But those first movies were so great to introduce them. So I don't know. I mean, but some of the introductory movies that we've gotten in phase 4 and phase 5 weren't bad. I liked Shang-Chi. I
Mhm.
may be in the minority here, but I liked Eternals.
I agree.
So so I don't know. I think also, and this may sound a little controversial, but I think some fans just can't be happy. So
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah, I can see that. And yeah, I mean that is a really good point where Tia, when you were saying earlier that you're not definitely not going to please everybody, and that there are going to be I don't know. I mean, not to keep bringing up Star Wars, but Star Wars. No one's ever going to be happy with a Star Wars film, no matter how perfect it is.
God
Uh,
no. God no. No one's gonna be happy.
um, yeah, like unless you let every individual make their own Star Wars film, it's gonna be not for everybody, and that's fine. Like I'm finally glad that we're getting to a point where like Rogue One is like a classic now because it's great with Andor, and Solo was such a fun movie, and I think that needs. I mean, that's getting a reappraisal, but I don't mean to get off topic. But anyways,
I mean, they're both owned by Disney, so it's not
yeah.
that big of a
Right.
thing. I just think when people talk, like, I haven't seen the Marvels yet. I read your review, Dom, which, go to geekvibesnation.com and read Dom's review. I You gave it, a pretty good review where you said like it's just entertainment, go and be entertained. Um, the people again just want to be overly critical. And then I think people are also really just now, people are worried about what's going to go on with the MCU, with the whole news about, it's like flip-flopping. They're abandoning the Kang storyline, but now they're saying they're not abandoning the Kang storyline. But then when the director just was told by Marvel that he's no longer going to be directing Kang Dynasty, it's like people are like, okay, what's going on? I don't know what's happening here. So I think that also comes into play.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's where people are getting. I think that's where it's up in the air as far as like, people have heard of Kang, um,
Right.
but and I think possibly, the whole phase 4 into 5 is like maybe they're like, I wanted, a lot of people wanted Doctor Doom.
Right.
We thought we were gonna get Doctor Doom before. We know we all kind of wanted Mephisto at one point and didn't get it. So there's like, I think
I'm
there's a
getting
lot of just
flashbacks to WandaVision.
yeah. So I think there's a lot of people who are just that's their beef. They're like they're not getting exactly what they wanted, and instead of like trying to have their best time on this rocky journey, they're are like, I mean, because the Marvels, like, it's not a bad film. Is it the best film? No, but like there's so many people who were avid about hating it, and I don't know if it's a Brie Larson thing, if it's a female-led cast thing, because all of them are great to me. They have great chemistry together. Iman is fantastic. So I don't know what the huge beef is. I mean, the villain is probably not the best villain, and that was my biggest beef. Is the villain was kind of eh. But yeah, I'm kind of confused on what exactly people are really are disliking, and I mean in general audience wise, because it seems that the all the arguments are kind of all over the place. So it
Mhm.
kind of just seems like some people are just uh hopping on the bandwagon of like this is the new big thing. Let's hate it. Taylor Swift is big. Let's hate Taylor Swift. Drake is big. Let's hate Drake. So I feel like that's kind of what's going on right now.
You
Yeah.
ever see that thing that was like hating something that's popular doesn't make you cool? And it's like, again, I didn't see the Marvels. I liked the Captain Marvel movie. Again, as you said, is it the best movie in the MCU? No. Is it absolutely horrific? No. It's just entertainment and fun. I think probably a lot of it has to do with Brie Larson. People just don't seem to be huge fans of her. So
No.
when they were promoting the Marvels, I was like, this probably isn't going to do that well, but I didn't expect it to do as poorly as it is. But
Yeah.
I don't know, it's
Yeah.
neither here nor there. So
And I definitely think there are. I mean, I've definitely read and watched some like really good video essays where as long as you can give me just really balanced, cogent reasons why you didn't like something, and but have a balance. Like there is things you liked about it. Maybe there was plot problems that weren't maybe the greatest, but like I don't know. I think to y'all's point though. I mean, if you can just still watch it and have fun. So I haven't seen that one either. So kind of a funny story. So when I went to see Thanksgiving the other night, my husband went to see the Marvels, and because he's like Eli Roth, gory movie, no, that's like a double whammy. So um like he literally just paid to see another movie, even though I had like a free plus one. But anyways,
oh, he
but
didn't go see it with you at all?
nope, nope. That was a not only was that a no, but that was a hell no. Which is fine, which is fair because I know, like, I don't know if he tried to drag me to something ridiculous, I probably would maybe put up a fight. I don't know, but but to that point though, so I was like, hey, how was it? And he was just like, it's fine. It had some issues, but I had fun. I don't know if I would run out and buy it, but like I was mildly entertained, and sometimes that's just enough. So I want to hear y'all's hot takes on some stuff, but my hot take is I like Wonder Woman 84.
You liked Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah.
Whew,
Wait, that's
that is a hot take.
I know. I listen. I know it's bad, but it also kind of feels like one of those really goofy 90s superhero movies where we didn't really have it all figured out, but it was just gumption and we're going with it. And it just felt like a really weird Silver Age one-off story that's stupid and ridiculous, but it has Pedro Pascal.
He was the best part of that movie. He was the best part.
Yeah. And again, yes, like I fully admit it has a lot of issues. And that's not even really talking about the questionable body swap consent thing that I don't like to think about, but like I don't know. I just thought it was fun. I just, as far as like something that's not super connected that I can just compartmentalize as like a one-off, like silly, kind of fun, like again, it makes me think of like this ridiculous Silver Age comics where it was just like Batman is a zebra now for some reason. It's just stupid shit like that that like it's okay because we're living in this world where we can have something dumb and stupid like that, but that's still kind of fun. But then, we also have like so many legit amazing comic book movies that I think it kind of takes the sting out of it a little bit. Like when we don't get something that we maybe were hoping for, that we kind of have so much, I don't know, variety. So I don't know. Don't make me feel so bad. What are y'all's like hot takes?
Dom goes first.
I think a lot of people know my hot take as far as his films. I championed despite the director, I championed Avengers: Age of Ultron
I
for
told you.
multiple
I
Yeah.
times.
told you this in the. I told you this in the Loki review. I was like, Dom loves Age of Ultron. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
just love the whole like buddy camaraderie that we got. Like, Avengers was cool, but Ultron, they're all hanging out, they're drinking, they're partying, they're measuring whose stick is bigger by trying to pick up, Mjolnir. I just thought it was fun, and I thought, I wish we would have got Ultron longer, like for more than one film, because that's an interesting character that I can see possibly coming back. But yeah, I mean, I think we did a couple podcasts where I got shit for a good 15 minutes. But I'll down that hill. I like that movie, and there is a growing group of people who are now coming out and admitting that they like this movie. So like, I'm with y'all.
You're leading the charge.
Yeah.
I've seen that online where like more people are doing. I spend way too much time on TikTok, but like more people are like doing clips from it on TikTok and everything. And I go, there's like a growing appreciation for Age of Ultron. You just gotta wait long enough for people to like these movies. I guess my hot take would be, feel like I'm going to be very negative right now. My hot take is that Thor: Love and Thunder is the worst Thor movie. If not, maybe the worst MCU film. I would rather watch Thor the I would rather watch Thor: The Dark World, Age of Ultron, and Iron Man 3 over
Wow.
Thor: Love and Thunder. And this is coming from someone who like, I love Thor Ragnarok. That's in my top 5. Like, and I thought Taika Waititi breathed so much like new life into Thor. I loved everything he did with Thor in Ragnarok, and I was so excited for him to come back for Love and Thunder. And I like lied to myself after the movie where I was like, no, it was better. It's not as good as Ragnarok, but there was good moments, it was da. And the more I sit there and I'm like, that was the most disappointing thing. I mean, what a waste of having the Guardians, what a waste of having Christian Bale. You even fudge up the Jane Mighty Thor thing. I mean, Thor was an idiot. There's so many things that I sat there and I was like, come on, man. Why do I care about a little army of children going up against the big bad? And then you're like, oh, the movie's called Thor: Love and Thunder because he adopted this little godchild. I'm like, is this what happens when you don't have Loki in a Thor movie? Like, so that's my hot take there.
All right. Also, I don't know, it's funny. I was talking to Jason about this the other day. I want to see kind of more like, and I know James Gunn is so awesome at doing this, is like taking these like obscure comic book characters and making them really awesome. He did that with like Polka Dot Man. He did that with like, well, I mean, again, like Guardians were like not really that super well known. But here's my thing: Batmite. I want to see Batmite uh fully integrated into the DC universe.
I
Uh,
feel like I have to look that up now.
yeah. So, Dom, what I'm talking about though?
It sounds familiar. I'd
So,
have to see a picture.
so he is
Oh
this.
wow.
Yeah. Okay? I'll try to put up a picture on the screen for like when this video comes out. But he is like this little ridiculous Batman sprite that is super annoying, and I know it screams bad idea, but I feel like James Gunn has enough sort of wit and like he understands kind of how to handle these characters that he could actually make like a Batmite kind of work. And it was funny because we were talking about Peacemaker, and there was a that I don't know if y'all remember, like this is a very small character, like the really annoying neighbor,
Yeah.
this older guy. Supposedly fans were saying that that was supposed to be Batmite, or they were setting him up to be like that sort of character. I don't know. That's never been. I don't think that's ever been confirmed. But like, James Gunn's pretty plugged into like what people are saying online, so that might maybe give extra incentive that people are kind of like talking about this character, and then that could be kind of cool. And then like then James Gunn sort of DC universe. Which, just to like pivot really quick, am I the only one that thinks that like James Gunn is just gonna like right the ship at least for DC? Like, that's what gives me hope right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I was on to piggyback off James Gunn in general. I think where part of the reason why he has succeeded is not only because he's a great filmmaker, but also he's able to take on these properties that he can make very close to rated R, if not rated R. And I
Mhm.
think maybe that's where some of these other properties are failing. Is that if you grew up, reading comics in the 70s, 80s, 90s before, or really, I mean, any comics that are like with a serious hero, they're not PG stories. I mean, they're
Yeah.
more adult, they're more violent, and I think it's very hard to, tone down all these characters who, how do you tell a movie about the end of the world and make it like as close to PG as possible? You're throwing an ass, a damn here and there, but it's dark, and they were able to do it on a level that like with Endgame and Infinity War that we all love. But all the rest of them, if they are be able to be closer to a rated R, if not rated R, I think they might turn out a little bit better. They have more, room to play, room to, make a character a little more dynamic than what we are getting. Because everything's kind of, I mean, the Hulk is a very PG character, and he's quite possibly one of the, top two, top three strongest that we've seen on screen, and he ends up being kind of a joke all the time.
Yeah. Also, I just want to throw out there that I love that James Gunn can walk away from the MCU by saying that he is responsible for the only F-bomb in the entire MCU. Love it. Yeah, I think that's why we like things like Peacemaker, and even I think we were talking about this before, Mike, The Boys,
Mhm.
Gen V. We kind of are craving having comic book characters in more of an adult. So even the Netflix series, right? So the Netflix series, I think they were probably what is the TV version of PG-13, because again, for some reason they were allowed to say one F-bomb, and I always caught the F-bomb in each, but that was close enough to being very adult, very serious, but then also not over the top. This isn't a Quentin Tarantino thing, but we still got that. Like the Punisher was very gritty, the Daredevil was gritty, Jessica Jones had its moments, Luke Cage, Iron Fist we don't talk about, but you know. Yeah, I'm excited for James Gunn and his take on the DCEU. It's nice that he's in a new sandbox to play with, and he maybe doesn't have to worry necessarily about connecting things to the MCU, but now he does have the mission of trying to get a comprehensive DCU like off and running, because I think that's what people want. People, like, as much as people like the one-off stories, I think people are yearning for a more connected DC universe. So we'll see what happens. I think what Aquaman is the last DCU movie to come out, right?
Yeah. And honestly, I wouldn't really hate if they just completely hit the reset button, redid like leading up to Justice League again. I know that's probably never gonna happen, but it's
When
not
you
that I
say
hate
that, when you say that, do you mean like recasting everyone?
yeah, just hit the
Yeah.
reset button. Maybe not necessarily do the origin stories again, but just do a little bit of like a preamble back to like forming everybody. Which again probably won't happen, but I don't know. The Flash made me so angry, and it's not. I mean, oh my God, it made me angry for so many reasons, but like also these are probably the last time we're going to see these characters in this sort of iteration. I mean, especially Keaton's Batman, and I don't know how old y'all are, but like if you're around my age, like the Keaton Batman,
Yeah.
like that's like my generation's Batman. We all have that, like our Batman. So I don't know, like I should yeah, yeah, not to think about it because I'm gonna stroke out. But like, yeah, I just wish we could just I don't know. I wish we could have done Justice League better. Like I said, there's things that I liked about it. It's like I just don't think it was as a collective whole, it wasn't that great. Like it just didn't like flow together like I think it could have. But anyways, that's not
Yeah.
exactly the most original take, but I don't know.
I mean, Dom has, I think Dom is used to me for 4 years just shitting on DCEU and like every single podcast I can. So go ahead with your takes. They're not even bad takes; they're just takes. They're just fact.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if you're recasting Henry Cavill, right? Then like let's just recast everyone,
Yeah.
recast Wonder Woman, recast Batman, all that. That way you are really clean slate here. Which might get a little tricky because I think James Gunn said he is going to keep like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and
Mm.
John Cena as Peacemaker, but like I don't know. I think that there's too much bad history with the
Yeah.
old cast members. Not like I liked Henry Cavill as Superman. Let me just throw it out there. I liked him as Superman, but I think if you bring them in as their original characters, people are going to get too confused.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we will just never not hear it from the Zack Snyder fanboys. Okay. We will never stop hearing about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean at this point, both the DCU and the MCU are both in this, you know, Doctor Who timey-wimey era where literally they can do anything they want to at this point. If they
Yeah.
wanted to start over, they can because they can make it an alternate universe because
Yep.
every both universes have multiple timelines, different people playing different characters. So I mean, because there was always talk of Michael B. Jordan playing was it Balzad? That's a
Yeah.
possibility because it's a different timeline. So they can kind of do what they want to do if they so choose to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would kind of love to see, I mean, I don't know if we're really there yet with like CGI as far as like making people look convincingly younger again, but like, oh my gosh, I would kind of love a like getting Tim Burton, getting the band back together for like what a like true follow-up to Batman Returns would look like. Um again, probably never ever what happened, but like holy shit. I feel like a lot of people would really get excited for that because even though like the nostalgia thing is sort of like a double-edged sword, I think we've seen some really good examples of how you can do sort of like this like nostalgia bait, I guess, for lack of a better word. But do it in a way that feels sort of fresh and organic and not like, I mean, The Flash, I feel like is just the definition of how to do fan service really shitty. Like the absolute worst. Like um
I always think that this is very random, but if you ever want to do like fan service slash nostalgia, I always think that Jurassic World, the first one,
mm,
was a perfect way to, I mean, say like obviously the ones that came after that are rocky, but to me as like a Jurassic Park fan, I thought Jurassic World did the whole nodding to the old fans, but also making something new really well. So it's like we can get that balance in movies. It's just having people behind it that can actually achieve that.
yeah.
That's
And
true.
like again, this also might sound random, but I swear I'm going somewhere with my old feeble brain. But like Thanksgiving was kind of a perfect example of how like Roth made this really cool modern slasher, but people that kind of love 70s and 80s slasher films, like they'll get the references, they'll get the Easter eggs, like the bodies around the table is very like happy birthday to me. Like they had Lynn Griffin, who I interviewed a little like last December, but she of course was in Black Christmas, and like they'll get all those little wink wink nod stuff, but like it's not in a way where it just like shoves your face into it, and it's like it's just that perfect balance. And I think like I just feel like we need, I mean, yeah, so like you said, we can do it. We just I don't
Somehow, some way.
know.
Yeah, I think I can't remember who exactly I heard say it, but I think part of the issue sometimes is some filmmakers, they kind of think the audience is stupid, so
Mm,
they have
Yes.
to force feed or spoon feed certain things where they could have done it subtle and we would have picked up on it, but they're like, they're not gonna get it. So let me put like the movie cover in the background so they know exactly what movie I was talking about. And it's
yeah,
like, no, like give us some credit. People are gonna can figure things out by themselves. And if not, you'll have people like us who point it out and they go, oh shit, I didn't even realize that. Let me go watch it again.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I
Uh,
100% agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's kind of funny because like I don't know about y'all, but like do y'all like really like follow the whole Five Nights at Freddy's lore, like which is like this very complicated giant graph of like interconnected things. Okay, me neither. So that's good. Um
Well, no, no, I only because I always heard everyone talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, and then obviously when the
it was just
trailer
like
came out, everyone was talking about it. So I was like, I don't even know what this game looks like. And then I saw like footage of that YouTuber Markiplier playing the first one, and it's a
mm.
very basic game. And I was like, this is it. Which, oh my God, please don't come for me if you're a fan of this. I just don't know.
But please let us know in the comments because that boosts the algorithm. So,
And
tell
also, Mike Vaughn got to speak to Matthew Lillard recently. Unfortunately, didn't get to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's due to the strike, but you still got to interview him, so it
and
counts.
that's so funny because like it was like literally that same evening, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, it was like because I was at dinner with some friends and I was like literally, my phone was blowing up with like strike's over, we reached a deal, and I'm like, but hopefully, next time he had a good time. So I feel like we can get him again. It would be so cool to have a group of us talking to him because I think that would be fun. Like, he definitely is just as charming as you kind of would think he or would hope he was. But I guess with my Five Nights at Freddy's thing was like that's another thing that like has such a complicated lore, but they were able to sort of streamline it a little bit for new people. But then they put enough kind of Easter eggs or references or little things in the background that are like, okay, we see the fans, we appreciate you. Like, I love having YouTubers that really championed the game, as far as like doing like cameos and stuff. Like Matt Pats was kind of hilarious. Oh my gosh, could you imagine like us getting to do you like cameos and stuff someday?
It'd be
I
nice.
mean, it'd be nice. Like I always say, I'll be the person who's like handing someone a coffee cup in a scene, right? Just like
Just anything, yeah.
Right.
Like, I just want to die violently. Like,
You're right.
I like,
I need Stu Macher in another screen, and then I'll be the first person he kills who just seems like a one-off. I'll take it.
there you go, yeah. Like, no, it's so funny because I have like filmmaker friends, and I'm like, I will like if y'all aren't like if you're shooting on the East Coast, I will like come to you on my own dime. I will like put myself up, just put some like squibs, like kill me. You don't have to pay me, whatever. I just think that would be the coolest thing. So
and then you could be wherever they have like Law and Order SVU and it's like just the dead body and they're all like standing around talking.
I know, but
Just
I'd
give
want
me
to be
that part.
I I still think that would be the coolest though. Like, I would kind of want to still look good though, like if possible. Like, I'm just laying here, and, like, I still look good. You have my good side. I don't
Let me be a pretty corpse.
Right.
yeah, let's make it happen, put it out there in the universe. But yeah, just was there anything y'all wanted to wrap up with as far as like any final thoughts? I know like this is one of those huge subjects that like I feel like you could probably talk about for like hours.
I just want to know your guys' thoughts really quick on the rumor that, and again, it's a rumor, it's not confirmed. Everyone is saying it's confirmed, it's a rumor. That Pedro Pascal is going to be Reed Richards.
Yes. I mean, my short thing is yes. Oh my God, I love Pedro Pascal. Like, daddy vibes, give it to me. Yes. That's my take.
um, Look, man, he's the man. He's the man of the hour for the past like 2 years. Um, I love seeing him on screen, so I'm not opposed to it. Um, he seems like he can do anything. So if he's down, I'm down. So that's how I feel.
My quick take is like, yes, I love Pedro Pascal. Clearly from being in The Last of Us and The Mandalorian, he has shown that he can play a daddy with troubled children very well. I will say that I was a little like, ooh, John Krasinski, just because maybe like the internet has like gaslit me for the last like 10 years that like, and then especially seeing him in the Multiverse of Madness, I was like, oh, it happened, it happened. But listen, you want big names on your Fantastic Four. Pedro Pascal is a fantastic actor. He can play it off. And then if the rumors are true for the other casting, I mean, he's gonna, who is it? Vanessa Kirby, I think they're
I love
saying.
Vanessa Kirby. She's so good.
I mean, Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby as a power couple.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice.
So
So
who do y'all think would be a good Doctor Doom? I was like trying to like really think about who would be a really interesting like Doctor Doom. Like, that's such an
There's there's one, I cannot remember his name for the life of me, but I always think of him as either a Doctor Doom or Mr. Sinister, but he was in that Dracula movie where he was actually like Vlad the Impaler who became Dracula. I can't think of his name, but he
Wait, I'm sorry, is that Luke Evans?
maybe he had the dark hair kind of. I
Yeah.
think I think he'd be perfect because he has like kind of the villain look. He just looks kind of like the I'm the hot guy, but I'm also gonna kill you, and that's perfect.
Like him?
I can't see. Yeah, yeah.
I can
Yeah,
see
all
that.
right. I can see that. So I don't know if this is a fun fact, but he's doing a movie with Billy Porter, and I was like, seeing if I could interview them or him or both of them. Like, I don't know if y'all know this, but Ma, you ever see Ma?
Yeah.
Uh, Ma is the greatest movie ever. Like, I will die on that hill. I love that movie. Tia, you haven't seen Ma yet? With
I haven't. Oh wait,
Dom.
is Ma the one with oh my god, what's her name? She's such an
Octavia
esteemed actress.
Spencer.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to see that. I don't know why I never got to, but I love the memes of like her around like the corner, like listening in and everything. I need to see it.
Yes. Dom, why do you think Ma's the greatest?
I know what, and I do think though, I do think it was one of, I want to say it was one of the first movies I reviewed for GVN, maybe like the first 10. No, it's a very like, it's an interesting movie because because no, look, me and my wife were talking about this, you know, when we back in the day, there was always like that one adult, whether they were like lived on your street, owned a store or
Mm.
whatever, that kind of knew everybody and you were okay to hang out with them because everybody trusted them. And Ma was kind of that person, but she was like, I'm with the shits. And
Yeah.
it's crazy, and like it's one of those ones where you go, oh, like that's what's going on down the street. I could easily see this being a real life story.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like I know you're not really supposed to do this, but I feel like if I do get to talk to Luke Evans, I'm just gonna be like, okay, real quick, out of the way. I love you, Ma, like greatest movie ever made. So we'll talk about this movie now, but you know.
Oh, please. I do that all the time when I interview people. I'm like, just to let you know, I really liked you in X, Y, and Z. Okay, I got that
Yeah,
over with
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to say really quick, online, I've seen people talk about Doctor Doom where it's like either like Mads Mikkelsen or Michael
He'd be good
Fassbender.
too.
I
Ooh.
think either of them would be good choices. And I just wanted to get
That's
Michael
true.
Fassbender in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like he already did an amazing job with Magneto. I just need
Yeah.
him in the MCU.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I can easily see either one of them like hit just like completely hit that out of the park. But yeah, no, I just think like it's it's definitely good that I'm getting excited for like some stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It's such an interesting time for like just comic book movies in general, but like they're like I said, we've been talking about some stuff that we were super hyped for. Like I still am holding out hope we get a Blade movie and that it's like fucking awesome.
I
And
just really hope that Mahershala Ali doesn't back out, because wasn't there rumors recently where he was
mhm,
like, it's been too long now, I
I heard
think.
about that
And
too.
I was like, no, you cannot lose him. Make the
uh,
Blade movie now to put everything else aside.
like does anybody know what's going on with the Spawn movie? Like, is that even still happening? It's like one of those
I,
things where I feel like he says it's going to happen every year, and it's
yeah, I keep hearing that. Like I follow him on Instagram, and he keeps talking about like scripts are done, we're ready to shoot, and like, all right, man, when's it gonna happen, man? Like I need it now.
yeah.
It feels
What
like
studio is
the
that? Oh, sorry.
I
no.
don't know actually.
Is it
Hmm.
Sony?
Hmm.
I don't know. That scares me because I saw Morbius, and
Oh, Dom, you were so funny on Twitter X, where Kanan goes, say something nice about Morbius, and Dom goes, Matt Smith is in it.
uh,
and apparently those same writers are the ones who did Madam Web. So I don't know how Madam Web's gonna turn
hmm.
out.
Hmm. What did y'all think of that trailer that just dropped? I'm like,
Yeah, it's one of those lukewarm reactions where you're like, I mean, I want to see what's gonna happen, but like, I love all the people that are in it, but
It
I don't
just
know. And they almost seem like they don't fit together though.
No,
yeah.
not at all. Dakota Johnson with any of those actors is just like weird.
Yeah,
And it feels very someone points out it feels like a CW like crossover episode.
Oh
Oh
no.
shit, it does.
I don't know. I mean, I walk into every Sony Marvel movie with incredibly low expectations, and I really
Yeah.
I liked both Venom movies because of
Yeah.
that. And I kind of like Morbius. Maybe Madam Web will be good. I don't know.
Yeah.
I won't be as upset if it's bad. Like if I go in and it's bad, I'm not going to be like, oh, I was so excited for this and it completely let me down. Sony Marvel movies have no stake for me, so whatever. If they're good, then they're good. Like same
They
thing with
kind of
the
all they kind of all follow a weird formula
yeah.
where the person goes somewhere, something happens to them, they're like, I have this weird power, and then oh, who's this bad guy? I have to help stop that. Everyone is like that. I don't understand because I
Wait,
feel like that's the
that's
same way
true.
that Craven is starting. That's the same way that this one looks like it's starting. I
And
don't
and
know.
and Morbius started like that, Venom started
Yeah.
like that. You're right. That's so crazy.
uh,
I don't know. Yeah.
yeah.
But they're all like super short, which is good. So you're not like
Yes,
stuck in the
true.
theaters for a long time.
That's true.
Or you could just
So
watch it on TikTok now.
I'm
Right.
wait. One last thing before we wrap up. Again, remember the movie The Menu? Was that what it was called?
Mhm.
The Menu? Which phenomenal movie. But I swear to God, I saw 85% of it on TikTok. So just saying, you just watch it on TikTok, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's wild. Like somebody told me, oh no, not somebody, like the director of Skinamarink I talked to like as the fan as it was having its Fantasia premiere, and apparently what happened unbeknownst to me was like somebody that was reviewing it for the festival like digitally ripped it, and then that's how it got so popular because it got like the TikTokers took it and ran with it and were like, "Oh my god, this is the scariest like movie ever," and they really hyped it up. So it was weird because
Oh.
like I was talking to the director about how it was such a weird blessing and a curse that it got kind of somewhat leaked online because like it still ended up making a crap ton of money. Like um I think I think this is okay to talk about, but like he was telling me that like I don't know, they like one of the studios snapped him up for like a $2 or $3 million horror movie, like right out of the gate. So he's like, I can't complain. I'm one of the luckiest. Because I said I called him an indie horror director, and he's like, well, I can't really say that I'm an indie director anymore since like they snapped me up, and I don't know, but that's kind of something Tia, you and I were talking about, was like these like indie directors that are getting their time at bat with some of
Mhm.
these Marvel and DC movies, and I kind of think that's the way to go. Like I think that's like a really interesting like fresh take, especially if you have somebody that's maybe like, oh my god, they're like amazed that they have a $500,000 budget. You give them like, I don't know, 10 million, 20 million. It's not like what some oh my god, what was the Flash, like 300 million, something
Yep.
crazy like that. Like
And they still
uh
made that bad CGI.
No.
yeah,
Sorry. I know,
just
kicking a dog while it's down.
I know. Well, listen, this dog you can just put down. It's fine. We can move on. We'll get a better one. But no, it's awful to
For
say.
Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess that would just be my kind of final thought, is just like I think that's just the way to go. Just give somebody that's super creative that can like take $2 million and spin fucking gold out of it. I think it's this thing where we have this expectation that everything has to look like Endgame or something, just that's like the scope and the CGI, not to mention just like how overworked the poor effects people are now. Apparently a lot of that's coming out. So I don't know, just like give somebody like even just hell, even like a $20 million budget to somebody that maybe has never even had $1 million to work with, but is creative as hell. Like, it just seems so simple. I don't know. It just doesn't cost anything to have an awesome story and then build off of that. But I don't know. I'm pretty hopeful. I think it's going to be interesting seeing how stuff gets course corrected, because I think, and again, T, I think this was something that we talked about where it's not this, it's this mentality of like, okay, we're going to put anything out and y'all are going to like watch it and y'all are going to take it. And, you know, they kind of learn this harsh lesson of like,
That's not
maybe
happening
not,
anymore.
not so much anymore. So, I mean, hopefully this leads to like more trying, more like putting really like the just the effort into making something cool and fun. And sometimes, like y'all were saying, sometimes just entertaining is good enough, you know? Like, it doesn't have to be a goddamn masterpiece. It can just be a fun popcorn film, and that's fine. So, anyways, where can everybody find y'all on like Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it?
Dom, you first.
Um, I on X, Twitter, I am King_fish. I don't really talk on there except for in like DMs, because I prefer my conversations to be one on one and not with the whole world. Um, Especially, you know, if I trust a person, I can say some wild shit and not have to worry about, you know, being in trouble. But I'm more active on Instagram, and that's at the Dom Fisher, all crushed together. I'm active on like the stories with trailers and things of that sort. Um, and that's really about it. I mean, I'm on Facebook, but like I don't post on there either.
Yeah.
I'm here. We here. You get me, and that's when you got me. You feel me?
I feel that. I used to want to like do my Instagram and like cultivate and everything. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's just I haven't posted in like forever. It's just I scroll. But yeah, I mean, people can find me on X, Twitter, and also TikTok. Both of those platforms, my username is at TC_Stark. I try to post TikToks, also just kind of like promote whatever I'm doing on this channel there. But yeah, as Dom said, I'm mostly here. If I'm going to be putting out anything, it's going to be on our YouTube channel. So just, you know, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We do awesome content. We're very positive people, as you can see. I did just put out a new top 10. I brought the top
Yes.
10 with Tia back. So if you have a moment, please check that out, but also check everything out. I mean, Mike has been doing a million different interviews. Dom is like our reviewing king over here, and
I'll be
so
trying.
just
Left and right, like y'all are
yeah.
killing it.
As I always say, Dom, I don't know how he has time to actually be a husband and a father and work, because I
I
just
don't.
feel he's I feel he's
3
in the
hours of
theater.
sleep.
I feel
3
like
hours of
he's
sleep.
always at the movie theater, because every 2 seconds it's like this movie, this movie, this movie. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
But
whoa.
listen, if you live there, that would solve a lot of problems. Think about
That is
that.
true.
Like,
He lives
I
in the movie theater.
I like, so
Right.
I jokingly say that like our draft house in DC is like my second home. I'm like, y'all can just forward my mail there. Like I can just eat there, like everything, movies, that's all I need, internet connection. We're good to
Yeah.
go. But yeah, I want to like second that. Please subscribe to the our YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, Tia, I love that the top 10 is back and it's like killing it, and I'm really excited.
Thanks.
And like I'll link to like Dom, your reviews are always awesome. And I am hopefully gonna be doing maybe if I'm not too like wore out today, I want to try to maybe do, I did a written review for Thanksgiving, but I would like to do a video review. And I have an unboxing video coming up from the
Yay.
folks at the Noble Collection. I got something really cool of the Minecraft variety. I'll just tease that. So you don't want to miss that. Hopefully I can get that up next week. But you want to be subscribed, because all that's really awesome. Uh, y'all, thanks so much. This was so much fun. I always have fun talking movies and comics and all this stuff, like even making fun of me for my hot take on Wonder Woman. It's all good. I'll take that. But yeah, as always, thank you, and thank you for hanging out with me. Until the next video.
Bye.
Peace.